Spooktober is upon us, the most spooktacular time of the year, so I thought I would show you some of my Halloween, or should I say Samhain, pickups right after these. Hello fiends and ghouls, and welcome back to Generation Pixel for some creepy Halloween Samhain pickups. And what I'm going to do here is not what I normally do. I normally go from the newest games and work my way back to the juicy retro, but because this is a spooktacular special, I thought I'd show the least creepy game first and work my way forward to the most creepy game. And to start with, we have Devil May Cry HD Collection. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about Devil May Cry because most people have played most of the series. Me, on the other hand, I haven't touched this series at all. And yes, you can destroy me in the comments for never having played any of the Devil May Cry games, but let's face it, I am an RPG guy, and this isn't just quite enough RPG for me. I do want to go into it and start playing it from start to finish, and I thought the HD remaster was probably the most accessible way to do so. And who knows, maybe one day this game could make a devil out of me. So Devil May Cry HD Collection in the collection. Next up, we have a game from a console manufacturer who doesn't necessarily tend to delve into the horror, despite what you might be noticing just now. But that game is Cursed Mountain on the Wii. Now again, it's another game that I haven't played yet, but I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this one. It looks like it's probably going to be more my cup of tea than Devil May Cry is, and I'm almost positively sure that Scott and Jen over at Retro Rivals, if they didn't at least sing the praises of this game, they did give it a bit of a shout out. So that's Cursed Mountain on the Wii, coming in to the creepy collection. Next up, the game going into the shelves of shivers is Folklore. Now yes, you might be looking at Folklore and thinking this is a bit cutesy to be a horror game, and yes, it probably is, but it's the theme of the game. The game is about going to an island where you can communicate with the dead. An island that is populated with goblins and creatures of all sorts, and yes, maybe it's not the creepiest game of all time, and maybe it's one that I should have got round to a long time ago, but unfortunately due to mainly COVID, this one seemed to have skyrocketed in price. I did manage to pick this up recently for a very good price, and I'm happy to have the fearsome Folklore into the collection. Next up, going into the cabinet of chills, we have another Nintendo game, this time for the Switch, and that is House of the Dead Remake. Now I'm going to be totally honest with you, the Switch has grown in reputation day after day with me, and not so much for the new games coming out for it, but the remakes, the classic remakes that you're getting on the Switch is something fantastic. It's a wonder to behold. And the House of the Dead, well, Halloween coming up, who doesn't want a good light gun shooter where you get to blow the heads off of numerous zombies? So House of the Dead Remake for the Switch, coming in to the collection. The next game to be installed into the wall of weird is The Darkness on the Sony PlayStation 3. Now I've only played this just slightly, and I did enjoy what I managed to play of it. It is a bit of a first person shooter at its core, which is something that I don't enjoy, and not because I don't enjoy that style of game, it's because they tend to give me motion sickness. But I'm going to try and persevere with The Darkness because it has got some unique features in there, especially the fact that you're a mob boss who gets possessed by the darkness, and you have these massive gross tentacles to strike out and kill your enemies with. So that's The Darkness on the Sony PlayStation 3, coming in to the collection. The next game to be placed into the storage of screams is The Darkness 2. Now as I said, I did play a little bit of The Darkness and enjoyed what I played of it. What I've heard about The Darkness 2 is it's an improvement, and nobody can tell me you don't like a sequel that's an improvement on the first game. We get so many sequels that take away what was great in the first game, but this one I believe adds to it. I've had a little couple of minutes look at it, and I'll tell you what, I really liked the art style in this one as well. So that's The Darkness 2 coming into the collection. Now only a couple of more games to go in this spine-chilling pickups, and as you can see they're getting more demonic, gruesome and horrific as we go along. And the next one is one of the most horrific, demonic and gruesome games you will ever play, well, two of them, and that is the Silent Hill HD Remaster. Now I did play the Silent Hill games on launch, well anyway, Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. I haven't played any of the ones after that, but I thoroughly enjoyed them at the time. They were true survival horrors, they were extremely creepy, they'd done the job, they'd done exactly what they said on the tin, and that is give us some survival horror that truly makes us afraid. Now as far as I'm concerned, probably the best way to play the Silent Hill games are on the original hardware, original software on a CRT. But if you don't get the opportunity to do that and you're looking for something a little bit more accessible, then you probably can't do much wrong with the Silent Hill HD remasters. Now unfortunately they missed a trick here when they didn't add the first game into that. I have no idea why they wouldn't, but they didn't. But 2 is such a good game and 3 was strong as well, so that's the Silent Hill HD remaster for the PlayStation 3 coming into the collection. Now the next game obviously is the last game I'm going to show you just now, and it is the creepiest, scariest, most gruesome, most terrifying game that I have ever picked up, and I want you all to brace yourself for it before you get too panicked, too overwrought, and that game is Castleween on the PlayStation 2. Now just look at it, can you think of anything more terrifying than a bad game on the PlayStation 2? A low budget bad game on the PlayStation 2. On the front cover we can see children in costume, and that is another terrifying aspect of Halloween. Children running about in costume, trying to assault you for treats, and I can't think of, and yes, Castleween on the PlayStation 2. It's a game I've never played, I've never seen it before. I was out in the shops, I was out in the wild, and there it was. It just stared at me and said, you've got to buy me for Halloween, this is a must pick up game. Now I haven't played it yet, I'm going to get round to playing it because I do like playing these old bad PlayStation 2 games, as anyone who's followed the channel will know. And hopefully it's maybe not as bad as it seems. I doubt it, I'm sure it's going to be awful, but if it's not, and I'll probably inflict some gameplay on you guys as well at some point. So that is Castleween for the PlayStation 2 coming into the collection. Now that was my Halloween pickups, or Samhain pickups for 2022. Any of these games that you fell in love with back in the day, or any of these games that you've never seen before, then drop that down in the comments, because the interaction between you and me, well, that's what makes YouTube special. Thank you very much for watching as always, and until next time, stay safe and cheerio!